Good morning, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us, Karen. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. We're making fajitas today.
We are.
First thing I have to do is we've got a group of dietetic. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
Kansas State University dietetic students.
Yes,
so we actually have an audience with us today.
It's fun.
So everybody, you got 30 seconds. There you go. All right. There we go. All right. So thank you all for joining us today. So we're making mushroom steak fajitas.
We are.
And this is a recipe that's kind of in conjunction with
the
beef.
mushroom, the Kansas, well, the Beef Council as well as the Mushroom Council.
Okay.
It's on beefitswhatsfordinner.com, which most of our recipes are on there.
Okay.
So, but it's kind of a neat fajita. Typically, you don't see mushrooms in fajitas.
Right.
And so this is a great addition. And do you know that mushrooms are one of the highest sources of vitamin D in food? Food's not a very good source of vitamin D. We have to get that from the sunshine. But mushrooms are one of those things that's just really great source of vitamin D. So it's good to add them to something like fajitas.
Okay, so what cut are we using?
This is actually a sirloin, top sirloin.
And which is
a tender,
one of the 29 lean
29 lean cuts, and it's a really
the word loin
right
is in there.
Right, that's great. Always look for loin and round. Those are the words we look for to make sure they're lean. But this cut is really tender. Therefore, we don't have to do a marinating step. What we're going to do, and I'll show you here, we're just going to take the steak. We're actually just going to slice it into these nice little 1/4-inch slices.
Okay.
And then I'm going to season it so that we can have, like I say, skip that marinating step.
Okay.
And you notice, Brian, I'm looking for that grain.
Right.
I'm cutting right against that grain.
Okay.
All right. And you can use other cuts here.
Yeah, what's some other cuts that we could use?
I think about flank steak because it's a little less, you know, it's a very economical cut that you can use. Flank steak or flat iron would be awesome. Any kind of sirloin, tri-tip, you bet. I know those. Now some of those would require a little more marinating perhaps, but this is just a fun fajita recipe that you get home, you know, you think, oh, I forgot to marinate. So this is just a simple recipe you can use for that.
Right.
So I'm just going to show you basically then. I'm going to put these strips right into a bowl.
Okay.
And then I have taken a wonderful salt-free seasoning.
Right.
For people that really want to watch their sodium. And the dietary guidelines now tell us that we all need to reduce our sodium levels. So Mrs. Dash, this is actually the Fiesta lime. And lime goes so great with fajitas. So
well, while you're doing that, I'm going to take care of the vegetables.
Okay, great, excellent. Actually, I've already measured out a tablespoon. So I'm just going to put half of this on my meat.
We've got red and green.
Yes, we're using red and green pepper strips, which is very typical. And that's just an onion. Put that all in the bowl. And then the mushrooms, which is the next twist.
Okay, we're going to
Yes, they all go in there. And then what we're going to do is just take the rest of that tablespoon, put it right on top there, and then I'll let you toss that. I'll toss this, and that's going to fill it up.
Should you let this set for a little while?
You know what? It really doesn't need to. It doesn't need to. What we're going to do, the next step is I'm going to have this over in a hot pan, and we're just going to saute these off. First, I'm going to saute the beef, and then we're going to saute those vegetables. And it just makes a really pretty dish, full of nutrition because we've got all that great red and green, high in antioxidants, good crunch, good way to get vegetables into people that aren't typical vegetable eaters.
I like vegetables.
You like them, all right.
You know,
You're a healthy eater.
Well, you know, well, you can tell I'm a healthy eater. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have, through the magic of television, we'll have brown this all off.
Right.
We'll come back together and we'll kind of piece it together.
Build it all up.
All right, we'll see you in just a minute. Thanks for staying with us, Karen. Thank you for staying with us.
You bet.
Thank you for the students staying with us.
Yeah, this is fun having an audience.
Dietetic, I got that right there.
They're hoping they get to eat.
I know.
So, yeah, now we have to share our meal today.
Well, I'm not for sure about that, but that's all right. Okay, so through the magic of television, we sliced the steak in our first segment, grilled it off, tempted it.
We did.
Okay.
And you can see it's hiding right now under a tin foil because this is our actual beauty rest.
Right.
And so what we did is we browned off that steak, and I used olive oil, which is our hard, healthy oil, like you say. And you know, something I tell people though, if they don't maybe like quite the flavor of olive oil or something, canola oil is another monounsaturated fat that's very heart healthy. And canola actually has a little higher, what we call a smoke point, which is a point at which you can kind of start to see it swizzle and maybe even release a little smoke. And so it's a little, about 100 degrees higher than olive oil. So if you prefer, you could certainly use
So if
canola.
you wanted to brown something off, say a roast or something like that before you cooked it, that might be a good oil to
It would,
use.
yeah, especially with a braising like that. Okay, so basically we temp test that with our our instant read thermometer to 145 degrees, which is a medium rare for that steak cut. Remember, we seasoned that up during that first segment, and that Mrs. Dash's Fiesta Lime seasoning smells wonderful. So now all we're going to do is build it. We are using today a blue corn tortilla, which is a whole grain tortilla. It's kind of new on the market, and they're really, really tasty. So we're just going to put some beef in there and get some nice fajitas going, and then look how pretty our vegetables.
I know, they turned out really nice.
They kind of picked up that orange flavor, orange color, if you will, from that seasoning too. And mushrooms, onions, peppers, you can't go wrong. So this is another really healthy option here. Put those on there, and then we'll make sure and get some good mushroom strips on there for that extra vitamin D.
And I noticed we did these separate for the beef. Was there a reason that we did
Well,
that?
we did the beef first because we want to make sure and get it good and done all evenly. And we temped it up, and then we take that out. And then we had that wonderful brown in the bottom of the skillet, and that's called fond, F-O-N-D, and that is actually flavor. Okay, so when your beef cooks off and you've got that extra flavor down in there, that's fond, and that then cooks into those vegetables. So you kind of get a wonderful melding of all those flavors. So, and if you like, you can add a little bit of lettuce and certainly some chopped up tomatoes, just some diced tomatoes. Roll that up and you've got a great fajita.
Low fat or no fat?
Absolutely, yeah. This is actually a non-fat sour cream, which, you know, when you're not cooking with it, when you're just eating it, you're not going to notice that big a difference. So this is a non-fat sour cream, so we can just put some dollops on there, and we're not adding any calories to speak of, any fat, to that fajita.
Great tailgating recipe?
It would be. You know, because for tailgating, you could actually take those strips out to the tailgate and do that in a grill pan or right on your grill. Right. And then you could do the vegetables the same way. So
and just put it all in a crock pot.
Right. Or you could even do them at home, put them in a crock pot or a hot holder and take them out to the tailgate.
We want to remind everybody, we want to thank Hy-Vee for having us here today, and remind everybody, beef, it's what's for dinner.org, and also .com, thank you very much, and also the Healthy Beef Cookbook.
Right.
Contact the Kansas Beef Council for that cookbook, and I think we're going to eat.
All right, sounds good to me.
We'll see you all later.
Thanks.